Hello, this is Brighton TV and this is a match preview for Brighton vs Man City, and fans are back for this game. It will be great to see an atmosphere at the Amex again, and in our last game we drew 1-1 with West Ham and we played a 3-4-3 formation, and it was a very boring first half. We had very little attacking threat. That's because the front three weren't linking up with the rest of the team. They were very isolated, and I saw a lot of people debating whether Malpe was missed or not. And I don't think Malpe was missed, but it was more the actual role that Malpe does. Where Malpe, he'd play up front, but he'd be able to drop deep into midfield and link it from there, get it to the other attacking players. But we didn't have that versus West Ham. Welbeck's much more of a striker who stay up front, trying to go on the last defender. And Trossard wasn't getting into the game enough. He was being very isolated. That meant it was very easy for West Ham to defend against us. And for a large part of the game, we were just passing it around the back and nothing really happened. West Ham did get a couple chances at the end of the first half, but they didn't take advantage of them. But in the second half, we started attacking a lot better. Jahanbakhsh especially, he was being much more involved in the game. He was able to drift wide and get into the spaces in behind. West Ham started to open up a lot more because they knew they needed a win to try and keep their Champions League hopes alive. So they decided to get a lot more players forward, trying to be more expansive. And that made it very easy for Jahanbakhsh to go in behind, and he did get a lot of chances from that. Percy Tau came off the bench and he was a very good player. He was playing in the false 9 position and he did it very well. He was playing Malpe's role for the last 10-15 minutes and he ended up getting an assist, dropping deep, dragged a West Ham defender with him, passed it to Welbeck, and Welbeck ended up dinking it over the West Ham keeper to make it 1-0. When we scored, I was thinking we weren't going to hold on to the lead, and it was true. West Ham started attacking a lot more, and we ended up making lots of individual errors in the build-up to the West Ham goal, and it was a very good strike from Benrahma, but just clearing the ball, we were unable to clear it multiple times, which made it so then Benrahma could get a shot outside the box. That needs to be better, and we've dropped 25 points from winning positions this season, and we need to make sure that's a lot better for next season if we want to push up in the table in the Premier League. And Man City, they beat Newcastle 4-3, and it's clear to see why they are champions. They have so much depth, they're able to rotate their side a lot and still be able to get lots of goals and be able to go and win games. That's going to be very hard for us to beat Man City. They can make these changes and still be able to win games. And with the Champions League final coming up, they will make sure the players get lots of rest, and the intensity of their game seemed to be going down a bit since going into the Champions League final. And that's clear to see with Newcastle scoring 3 goals. Man City off the ball weren't as good as what they normally are. They didn't press as high, and that's where we need to try and take advantage of that. They're normally very high pressers. They make it hard for the defenders and midfielders to get it up the pitch. But now they don't want to risk injury, so it will be easier for us to try and get something from this game. And earlier on in the season, we lost 1-0 at the Etihad to Man City. And we played well that game. We were defending great and we were making it very hard for Man City to try and get anything from the game. And it was Phil Foden, brilliance from him when he went and scored from outside the box. And he's one of their key players, really good youngster. We all know how good he is. He's very versatile, can play along the front 3 or in the 10 position. So we need to make sure we're careful of him. And you look at some of the other City players who are very, very good. You look at players like Diaz, one of the best centre-backs in the league. You look at Gundogan. You look at players like Torres, who ended up getting a hat-trick, and he's a rotation player. And the lineup for this game, it should be a 3-4-3, and in goal it should be Sanchez with a back 3 of White, Webster and Burn. And Dunk is still suspended for this game, which is why he's not there. And I think they had a good game versus West Ham on the majority. There's no reason to drop them. And Burn especially, he had a great game versus West Ham. And the wing-backs for this game, I think it should be Karbownik and Moda. And Moda, he was great on the left wing-back again. And Karbownik, Veltman is still a doubt for this game, which is why I think Karbownik, this is the type of game where there's very little pressure since we are staying up in the Prem. We need to go and try and get some of the youngsters into the side. And I think when you look at who we can play right wing back, it will be better to play Karbownik than Gross. And the two midfielders for this game, I think it should be Bissouma and Alzate. And Alzate, he had a 100% pass success rate against West Ham. And you look at how he's played this season when he does play. He's very good at holding on to the ball and passing when it's right. And he doesn't lose the ball that often, which is why I think Alzate should partner with Bissouma. And the two wingers, I think it should be Welbeck and Jahanbakhsh. And Welbeck, I think he should play on the left wing instead of up front, since he doesn't play as good on himself up front, since how his style, where he's constantly on the last man, he doesn't get involved into the game as much. But when he plays on the left wing, he can go cut inside and make runs between the fullbacks and centre-backs. And that's where I think he should play. And Jahanbakhsh, he's been very good recently. And up front, I think it should be Percy Tau. He's played the false nine role well in his substitute appearance versus West Ham. And I think that's where he should play. Playing slightly deeper than what a regular striker would do. Play it in the Malpe role where he's able to drop deep, create space and try and pass it on to Welbeck and Jahanbakhsh. And my score predictions for this game, I think will be 1-1. And I think Foden will score for City. And I think Jahanbakhsh will score. He seemed very bright versus West Ham and did have a couple of chances where he could have scored. I think he'll score versus Man City. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Brighton TV and follow us on Instagram.